Hello and welcome to the Rashi School annual dinner. I'm Adam Fisher, head of the Rashi School. Thank you for joining us as we honor Dana Gershon and Rabbi Jonah Pesner with our inaugural Tzedek Award and celebrate 2020 Tikkun Alum honoree Gavin Alexander. A big thank you also to our annual dinner co-chairs, Jessica and David Aronoff, Daniel Miller, and Kara and Brandon Westerling, as well as our honorary co-chairs, Donna and David Fries and Linda and Michael Fries. We are grateful for the work you have done to make this event a success. Thank you. When I first toured the Rashi School, I was struck by the view from the Sukkot Shalom through the large window to the wall of the dining hall, where emblazoned in large letters is the phrase, Tzedek, Tzedek, Tirdof. Justice, justice, you shall pursue. I fell in love. This is a school that doesn't pay lip service, but heeds that call. It is a responsibility embraced by everyone who calls this community their home. For more than 30 years, the Rashi School has engaged in social justice learning and action across all the grades in the school. It is not an extracurricular activity. It's an integral part of a Rashi education. As trustee Barry Schrage puts it, if you wake up Rashi kids in the middle of the night and ask them why they were put on this earth, they will respond, "We're here to make the world a better place." Our students and alumni understand the importance of agency and advocacy. They know they can make a difference. Even as the pandemic spread across our nation, I was touched by the myriad stories from our school community of how individuals found ways to support one another and to give back even at this time. Today at Rashi, our students are thriving because our outstanding faculty has creatively shifted its practice to continue developing the relationships that foster deep learning and to provide a Rashi education while maintaining all of the safeguards necessary for us to be together. Our academic curriculum is student-centered. It's driven by our values. It supports and challenges every student and cultivates a love of learning. We are going to kick off this evening with a story about a grade 6 student named Alexis and an organization called The Shoe That Grows that is dedicated to providing shoes to children in need in Africa.
The Shoe That Grows started about 10 years ago when I was living and volunteering in Kenya at a small orphanage. I saw these kids around me who either had no shoes or they had to cut open the front of their shoes to let their toes stick out.
When I learned how kids either have shoes that are too small or they don't have any shoes at all, it really broke my heart and I wanted to make a change.
I put my chip in the Shoe That Grows. I know that children who need shoes will get shoes because some children get bad diseases when they don't have shoes and they get cuts.
And just the fact that I could help people even when it seemed so small, but it was such a big impact, really changed how I looked at things.
I remember the first time I met Alexis. It was one of the times I was able to be in person at the Rashi School, and I was speaking at an assembly in the gym, and I had heard that a first grader was going to make a presentation to me.
When I first met Kenton and handed him the money, it made me feel like I was making a really big impact.
I was just over the moon when this awesome first grade girl came out in front of everybody and handed me a giant Ziploc bag full of dollars and coins and all of this money that she had collected.
And that's the day I realized I wanted to start helping people.
She just did this out of her own heart and her own compassion.
It really opened my eyes to how remarkable helping people is.
I cannot wait to see, and no pressure, Alexis, but I cannot wait to see how Alexis continues her leadership with the shoe that grows. And who knows, she might take my job someday, and that would be totally fine with me.
A Shoe That Grows is just one of the more than 100 incredible organizations across the globe that we have partnered with over the last 25 years through our Tampui project.
Social justice is about helping other people.
I think Rashi's really good at teaching students the right way to treat people.
I love when Stephanie teaches us about peace. You have to show kavod to help the world be a better place.
The project was created by Stephanie Rotsky 25 years ago. She lives and breathes all the values that are taught to our students and has made it her passion to make these students leaders.
I come to school every day and I look into the eyes of our kindergartners all the way up to 8th graders. And I'm certain as they continue to get older and they become leaders in our world that they are going to have a huge impact.
Students and families explore organizations doing service to the world. The initiative was driven by the middle school students.
The middle school gets to choose the organization. I feel like I can help with the issues that I'm passionate about.
I did some research and I found the organization Boston vs. Bullies. I nominated it and it didn't get picked. So I decided to start a petition with my friend. We re-nominated it and the whole 6th grade signed the petition. It got picked and we're enjoying learning about it and studying it and teaching it. When you work really hard on something you believe in, what you want can really come true.
The Rashi School teaches students the most important message, the most Jewish message, that you have the power to change the world, and in fact, you have the mandate to change the world.
The 6th grade decided to choose mental health because we see a lot of violence in the media.
Media Girls is helping people have more self-esteem and more confidence in themselves.
I hear from the organizations over and over again. These kids are so intelligent, so courteous, so well-spoken. They use critical thinking skills that we've never seen before, and that's woven into everything they do at Rashi.
It's very clear we work with a lot of groups at the Rashi School, gets it, they understand social justice.
I can make a difference in someone's life even though they don't know it's me.
Community service is really embedded into the program. It's part of education and part of growing up to being a caring and kind young kid and one day a leader.
Because we have a say, we are learning to be leaders.
One of the representatives that we worked with suggested that several of our 6th graders join their advisory board, which is an incredible testimony to the work that we do here.
Every year around Purim time, 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders write cards to Jewish soldiers serving overseas. There was one card in particular by a 5th grader. I have goosebumps imagining the soldier opening that care package and seeing her card especially. In 1st grade, we just completed a big unit called Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover. And the students, after every book, there were always someone who said, Stephanie, that was my favorite story. And I'm going to remember what it means, don't judge a person by their gender, by their age, by their skin color.
The Rashi approach is to help students understand that our world is very complex and the understanding of the intersections of all of these subjects is essential in terms of problem solving and creating a better world.
We're learning about food scarcity and how to help. We can take what we know about science and what we know about social studies to help people all around the world.
I'm always delighted and inspired, and I feel so hopeful. They're going to be so much more mindful global citizens from their time with Tampui at Rashi. Imagine our planet.
Social justice at Rashi is not an extra thing, it's part of everything. When I walk past those words, justice, justice, you shall pursue, it makes me think Look what a small group of committed people can do. Look at the change that we can bring. And what better lesson for social justice at Rashi is there than that?
Tonight, we celebrate and congratulate Rashi Social Justice Coordinator Stephanie Rotsky, the entire faculty, countless parent volunteers, and the nonprofit visionaries.
All of whom have made this program possible for the past 25 years and for the next 25 years.
We fell in love with the Rashi School when we walked into Stephanie Rotsky's second grade class so many years ago. She was teaching her young students about social justice, the values we care so much about. We were hooked.
We were so proud of the Rashi School when they made the decision to make Stephanie the first full-time social justice coordinator in the country. Stephanie is amazing.
And we feel so fortunate that our grandchildren, Jacob and Talia, are at the Rashi School. They are getting an excellent education as well as developing wonderful values.
Dana and Jonah, you have made so many contributions to social justice over the years. This recognition and honor is so well deserved. Thank you for making our world such a better place.
At the heart of the Rashi School is the core value of justice. We think of this word in a multitude of contexts. From the day kindergartners join us through to graduation, they contemplate justice and respect in age-appropriate ways in all of their learning. With your help and generosity, we have already established a legacy of meaningful and impactful education and service at the Rashi School. I am thrilled to announce the Rashi School has recently received a foundational gift to develop our social justice program. We have already set this in motion with additional resources to the social justice team and are excited about the growth to come. Please join me in walking this path together and support the Rashi School tonight. It is my great honor to introduce Rashi alumni, Juliet, Noah, Bobby, and Kate, the children of our honorees, Dana Gershon and Rabbi Jonah Pesner.
We are Dana and Jonah's daughters, and we are so excited to present them with this award.
Mom and Dad, we are so grateful to you for our whole lives, showing us how you dedicate all that you are to making the world a better place, constantly putting others before yourselves, which is something that was really cemented in our education and sending us to Rashi for so long, for so many years, learning values and learning how to implement those values in all aspects of our lives and really take that with us everywhere that we go.
Mom and Dad, you have spent your lives devoted to not only making sure that we get an exceptional education, but one that teaches the Jewish values of Zedek and Tikkun Alum, and we got that at Rashi. You are deserving of this award for how much you have given back to that community and done for the world.
Mazel tov, Mom and Dad. I know you deserve this award for Tzedek, justice, because of the values of inclusivity, equality, and kindness you and the Rashi School raised me to act with every day.
Mom and Dad, you are so deserving of this Zedek award because for your whole lives, when you have seen injustice in the world, you have made it a priority to stand up for what is right, even when it takes extra work, and taught everyone around you to do the same. The Rashi School taught me to think critically and challenge how the world around me works from the time that I was very young. Rashi has taught my sisters and I and so many of our friends to be bold, be kind, and pursue justice. Congratulations,
Dad.
We are so proud of Juliet, Noah, Bobby, and Kate, our 4 incredible daughters who are grateful Rashi alum.
Each one is academically successful, emotionally intelligent, and committed to Jewish social justice domestically and internationally thanks to the Rashi School.
And don't just take our word for it. They will tell you themselves that it was the values that they learned at Rashi, limud, tzedek, kehillah, kavod, and ruach, that guide them on their personal journeys.
In their studies, their work, and the roles they take on in their communities. Thank you all so much.
We could not be more thrilled to be the inaugural recipients of the Rashi School Zedek Award.
And we wish we could be with you in person.
We wish we could all be together in person and are so grateful to all of you who logged on and joined in for this celebration of our beloved Rashi School.
We are fortunate to count many of you among our dearest friends. It was as Rashi parents for more than a decade that we built our Kehillah, that we miss so much and to whom we are forever connected.
If we named you all, we would far exceed our time, but we must acknowledge and thank the honorary chairs and chairs of this year's dinner who planned this evening under such challenging circumstances. Donna and David Fries, Jessica and David Aronoff, Dan Miller, Kara and Brandon Westerling, and especially Linda and Mike Fries, who along with Stephanie Rotsky are the heart and soul of social justice at the Rashi School. And we're joined tonight by our dear friend, Governor Deval Patrick. We look forward to hearing from him. And of course, we are sharing this award alongside Tikkun Alum, Gavin Alexander, child of Rashi's great treasure, Joni and Reed Fishman.
As we continue to be socially distant and protect each other by staying home, we need to pause from our celebration briefly and acknowledge the nearly 250,000 of our fellow Americans who have died of COVID-19, the more than 1 million across the globe who have perished, and the millions who are suffering.
We think of those who are suffering with illness and loss, those whose families, jobs, and businesses are impacted.
We are grateful to the healthcare workers, scientists, and essential workers who are struggling to save lives and protect our community in the face of an unprecedented pandemic and an assault on science. Even before the pandemic, the last several years have been an exhausting challenge to the enduring core Jewish values for which the Rashi School proudly stands.
We have witnessed a rise in white supremacy and anti-Semitism, murderous acts of violence against Jews, racist rhetoric and policy, and the shattering of norms and values that we Jews always cherished as part of our safety as a minority in the United States of America.
A beacon through all of this has been the Rashi School. From the moment that Dina and Adam visited Washington and shared their vision of the annual dinner as a celebration of Rashi's commitment to social justice, we were inspired yet again by the Rashi School, and tonight received the Tzedek Award with humility. This plaque quotes the Torah, "Justice, justice, you shall pursue," the words of scripture that were proudly portrayed in the offices of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, her memory for a blessing. We love the Rashi School and could not be more grateful.
You are transmitting a 5,000-year-old sacred tradition to the next generation who will lead our community and our world into a future of justice, joy, and compassion for all people. The Rashi School, we love you and thank you.
We are so excited to celebrate our dear friends Dana Gershon and Rabbi Jonah Pesner at this year's Rashi annual dinner. Dana and Jonah were Rashi stalwarts for more than a decade, and in addition to 13 years of school together for Juliet and our son Jacob, I was also fortunate to share the Acharai experience with Dana. Dana and Jonah have given so much to Rashi through the years. Dana serving on the board as a vice president, and then president of the board, leading us after we finally made it to our own school in Dedham. And Jonah was an ever-present force at Rashi, serving on the head of school search committee and as a constant spiritual guide to the Rashi community.
Dana and Jonah's commitment to the broader Jewish community in Boston and beyond remains an example for all of us. Whether co-chairing the CJP Boston Haifa Connection or the board of the National Council of Jewish Women, Dana always makes time for critical causes. Jonah has dedicated his life to social justice, founding and leading Just Congregations, directing the Religious Action Center of Reform Judaism, and reaching beyond the Jewish community as a board member of the NAACP.
It was a sad day when they left us for Washington a few years ago, but we're so pleased to celebrate them tonight.
Mazel tov to Dana and Jonah. Kol hakavod for all you have done and continue to do.
I am honored to introduce a friend of Dana and Jonah's and a friend of the Rashi School, former Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick. Governor Patrick was kind enough to speak with our students and answer some of the complex questions they are wrestling with as our faculty and families guide them to understand the world around us.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be with you all to celebrate and honor my very dear friends Dana and Jonah, and to congratulate this year's Alumni Award winner, Gavin Alexander. I had a chance recently to take some big, tough questions from Rashi students about how they are understanding the world around us all today, and how they can contribute to making it a more fair and just world.
Why is my voice important?
Well, your voice is important because every voice is important. And I say that as someone who was a very shy kid, as someone who assumed that everyone else around me was smarter, better informed, more articulate. I think what I have learned is that wisdom resides everywhere, and it resides with you too. I think I learned that lesson by the other part of the answer to my question about the value of your voice, and that has to do with the value of your patience in listening to other voices. I think great expression is very much also about careful listening. And those two things belong together, and I hope they will in you.
Why is it important for kids to take a stand?
You know, I once heard about a speech given to high school students where the person giving the speech said it's important for young people to be radical. You're supposed to be radical. And I think by that, the speaker meant you're supposed to engage because this is about your future. Making the world better and safer and more just is about your future. And you have a stake in that and should speak up.
Why is it important for everyone to feel welcome?
I think that it's important for everyone to feel welcome because the challenges that we face in our communities, in our country, all across the world, will be solved through collaboration. Everyone has a stake in those solutions. More and more, everyone has consequences from the failure to develop those solutions, and no one person, no one political party, no one corner of the world has a corner on all the best ideas. We need collaboration and cooperation. And for that to work, the value of every voice and every contribution has to be apparent. And that starts in a very human way by making people feel like they belong.
The Tikkun Alum Award recognizes one Rashi alumni every year who, through their personal or professional efforts, continues to demonstrate the core values of social justice instilled in them when they were Rashi students. In addition to receiving the award, they will get to spend one day at Rashi sharing with us the work they are doing. Tonight, I am proud to announce that Gavin Alexander will receive the 2020 Tikkun Alum Award. I'm inspired by Gavin's work to unite people from different backgrounds. He sees people for who they really are and gives them hope for the future. Gavin is a role model to all of us, and it is important that we recognize his great work.
It's a joy to be with you this evening. Thank you to Governor Patrick and the Gershon Pesner family for the incredible work they've done and continue to do to advance the cause of justice, especially for those who need it most. When I joined Rashi in the 7th grade, I did so because the students seemed energetic, enthusiastic, and quirky, and because it seemed like the faculty genuinely encouraged questioning authority in their approach to education. As a Rashi student, I learned that the history of Judaism is in fact defined by questioning authority and fighting oppression. I learned about the history of protest, of the civil rights movement, and of allyship with other oppressed populations who need our help and our voices. My experience at Rashi taught me not only how to begin my own social justice journey, but the importance of surrounding myself with friends and mentors and role models who similarly are willing to fight for meaningful systemic change. My mentor and role model in this work was former Chief Justice Ralph Gantz of the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court, who passed away unexpectedly a few months ago, far too young age of 65. Our earlier speaker, Governor Deval Patrick, appointed Justice Gantz to the Supreme Judicial Court, and he eventually became the first Jewish Chief Justice. He brought the spirit of social justice to work every day, using his power and his privilege to expose injustice and change systems that support inequity. It was clear from every aspect of how he lived his life as a person and in the law that he understood the same fundamental lesson I learned at Rashi, that to be Jewish means to question authority and to fight for freedom, equity, and social justice. I'm still mourning his loss, but I will continue the fight for justice that he inspired me to pursue and that my Rashi education inspired me to begin. Whether that work takes the form of fighting to increase diversity, equity, and inclusion in the legal profession, fighting to ensure that those fleeing persecution can get into and stay in this country, fighting to end the stigma around discussing mental illness, like my own struggles with depression, fighting to dismantle systems which are rooted in racism, like the current incarnation of the police, fighting to limit wealth inequality and the ways in which money grants access to everything from education to health, or fighting the current housing crisis created by the devastating impact of COVID-19 on the economy, which Justice Gantz called the greatest access to justice challenge of his life. I will continue using my time, my resources, and yes, my privilege, to try to make things better for those who have less than I do. I encourage each of you to do the same. Justice, justice, you shall pursue. Thank you.
Gavin, congratulations on being this year's recipient of the Tikkun Alum Award. I have known you and your parents for over 25 years since my family began our Rashi journey in the mid-90s. Joni, Reed, as they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Gavin, you are so deserving of this award as I see you use your expertise in the legal profession for social justice, diversity, and inclusion. You are a prime example of somebody living the core values learned at the Rashi School. Mazel tov. I would now like to introduce Rashi alumna Meta Cohen from the class of 2015. She will close us out this evening with her national award-winning 4-part a cappella arrangement of Shalom Rav. Thanks to all of you for joining us this evening.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. 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 Do 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 da 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 do do. Yatahu melech adon lehu hashalom. Yatahu melech adon lehu hashalom. Hey, shalom Rav al Yisrael. Rashi.